why do we love CBD, the phytocannabinoids? What do they do for us? Turns out the biggest class of receptors, so receptors are things on the edge of your cells that respond to things like hormones, neurotransmitters, signalers throughout the body. And they take cues and they turn these into proteins and they organize the biochemistry around the things that are hitting the receptors. So you have hormones, you have testosterone, you have estrogen, and you have receptors for those. So there's a lot of different chemicals you make and a lot of different receptors. The biggest class of receptors in the whole body are cannabinoid receptors. Why? Is it because we smoke pot since the beginning of time? I hear a lot of yeses there, but it's not really the answer. The answer is the endocannabinoid system. We make cannabinoids inside our body. And these are neuroendoimmune modulators. They modulate the way we make hormones, the way we run our immune system, and the way we run neurotransmitters in the brain. And they're dominantly in the brain, the central nervous system, and in the periphery on the immune cells. They're super, super important. And they exist in everything above an insect. So all higher life forms, their dominant receptor set for modulating neuroendoimmune are cannabinoid receptors. We make these. So the dominant ones are CD1, which is in the central nervous system. There's CD2, which is in the immune cells. The CD2 is the one we're mostly working with here because it's controlling inflammatory processes. To give you an idea, the central nervous system, if you were to take THC is going to go in and it's going to strike the CD1 receptors in the central nervous system and cause the psychotropic effects. I didn't say that. Now, if you have CBD in there too, the THC is going to be split in its roles, and it's also going to address the CD2 receptors. And the CD2 receptors are the more important ones for all the therapeutic benefits. There's also other ones. There's the, these are funny ones. TRPAs and TRPVs, these vanilloid receptors, transient receptor potential vanilloid receptors. These are other ones that they're starting to find, and these are associated with pain and itch on the skin, and why CBD is good for a lot of topical rashes of pain. So there's a whole system that cannabinoids fit into. Now, CBD does not directly attach to these receptors. If something attaches to a receptor, it's called an agonist. And if something blocks a receptor, it's called an antagonist. So CBD is not an agonist for either receptor, but it's a modulator of the receptor. It sets it up. It sets a stage where our endocannabinoids or other plant-derived cannabinoids are given a balanced approach to the cannabinoid receptors. So a lot of people, one of the things that we have to dispel as a myth is the idea that THC is required for, quote, activation of the CBD. THC is not required for activation of CBD. And the reason is that CBD is modulating what your endocannabinoids are doing, and it's increasing the endocannabinoids. So first, let's look at the endocannabinoids. The first one is anandamide. Who knows what the word ananda means? I love you guys. You know how many doctors know what ananda means? Well, for Santa Monica, maybe they know, but in Missouri, they don't. So ananda means bliss, and this is the bliss molecule. It was first identified by the great Raphael Mashula. Now, if you guys, just a couple of things I'm going to give you along the way. Like, if you guys are going to be good cannabinoid salespeople, you have to know a couple of things. And you must know that man's name, Raphael Mashula. It's the St. John the Baptist of cannabinoids. He's at Hebrew University. They identified this in 1992. And it goes after both CB1 and CB2. It's found in chocolate. It's thought to be the reason why people really like chocolate, why it makes you feel better. You're stressed out, you eat chocolate, you get a little glycemide there. It is also produced in the body during meditation. Any of the meditations that produce a blissful state, which is all of them if you're doing them right, are helping you produce anandamide. And this is also part of the runner's high effect. So that's our first one. And then there's this other one, 2-arachidonyl glycerol, which we call 2AG for short. There's even higher levels in the central nervous system than the anandamide, and very high levels in breast milk. Part of why those babies sleep so peacefully. It is also both a CB1 and CB2 receptor agonist. For a while they were trying to figure out, is it a neurotransmitter? Is it a neurosignaler? But then they found it's a cannabinoid, and it's working with this cannabinoid system, neuroendoimmune. Neurotransmitter, endo is your hormone system, and immune, your immune system.